Oh, we're already live. We're sitting here talking.
Hey,
Don't hold it,
it's,
save it.
it's
We've got about 50 people on right now, and
great.
people are
Good.
just getting the notice that we're doing
Good.
this emergency appeal. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to invite Lev Parnas, who will come up when he gets a chance, because he's constantly communicating. Okay,
Yep.
wow, we just jumped up to
Yeah.
200. Hey guys, hey Fran. Um, um, we For those of you who are wondering, you're like, whoa, what's all this about? I just saw you on with Michael Cohen and later on with Lev Parnas. And so I'm bringing Phil Itner on, famous journalist extraordinaire who has been living in Ukraine for the last 4 years. I know Lev is in
Yeah.
New York. Lev is actually on his way to do CNN tonight to do battle with Scott Jennings on what is it, Abby Williams show or Abby Phillips show. But what we're doing is we're going to talk for the next half hour because there is an exceptionally, extraordinarily hard situation going on in Ukraine right now. My guys out in Kharkiv are dealing with it. This is a very, very hard winter in Ukraine. I just bought my battalion a month's worth of firewood. They're reduced to using firewood to heat now. They have no electricity or anything. So what I want to do is we have about 400 people here. It's worse than poor, guys. It's really it's so bad. We're doing this emergency appeal, and I'm going to let Phil Itner talk before his power goes out.
Yeah.
And you're right, generators for Ukraine. We need to get the Ukrainian people power. So, Phil Itner, tell us what's going on.
Malcolm, I've been here since the beginning of the full scale invasion, and so I can speak from experience. This is the worst winter of the conflict, without a doubt. We got lucky, relatively lucky, with earlier winters because they were, the first two winters were relatively mild, and the Ukrainians were, getting support from, the Biden administration when it came to maybe not weapons. There was a lot of criticism about that, but they were giving generators and repairing substations and things like that. And Ukraine got very, very good at repairing as quickly as they could. Ukrainian civil engineers are amongst the best in the world,
Yeah.
working under terrible circumstances. But
And
with
and
the
they do
rest
it
of the
every night.
world, every night, I bet you. Well, I don't hear it now, but I heard it about 20 minutes ago. I heard a work team just down the street from me, and they do it every night, and they work round the clock, and they are doing everything that they possibly can. President Zelensky has declared a state of emergency. The Russians have decided that they're just going to absolutely go for it this year when it comes to destroying the electrical grid. And there are people who have been without power for days, and heat without days, and water without days. And unless something serious is done quickly, people are going to start to die from exposure to the elements. They're setting up here in Kiev. They set up um, these inflatable kind of huts where they put cots, and you can put heaters in there, and you can recharge your phones. You can recharge your batteries. I live off of solid state batteries when we lose power. Again, I don't know, I'm repeating myself here, but 15 hours without power I had today in minus 20 degrees Celsius weather. That's 4 degrees Fahrenheit, 4 degrees above freezing, without any heat or power. So we rely on little space heaters. We rely, and I'm lucky. I'm lucky. By comparison, I'm well off compared
Right.
to what your usual Ukrainian can get. So I shudder to think how they're living. I know a lot. I speak to my Ukrainian colleagues and friends, and if you live in a high rise, and you got to get your 79-year-old grandma out of the elements, you got to carry her down 18, 17, 18 floors, and they don't have, they're insufficiently set for permanent relocation within Kiev. The more of that is out west near Lviv, near the Polish or the Romanian border, where it's relatively more safe. That's where they have internally displaced people go. And there's going to be another massive influx of internally displaced people. You're going to have a lot more people suffering, just from being in the elements. And then ultimately, if this really gets bad, if they can't get a handle on this thing, there's going to be a massive international influx, and that means more refugees streaming into Europe. There's still very goodwill towards the Ukrainians in Europe, but you're gonna be putting pressure on that because it might get to a point where it's unsustainable to be in Ukraine, which is of course exactly what the Russians want. So they hit us with hypersonic missiles. They specifically targeted electrical substations and power stations. One of the things that's being discussed right now is bringing in these massive mobile generators that aren't just the size of a small room or something. These are actually on flatbed trucks. And they're thinking of doing that, bringing that into Kiev specifically because not only can it go to these trucks will be able to go to those gaps in the grid where they're needed most, but also they're maneuverable. And so that means that they're harder for the Russians to target and hit. But
And
you know,
just just
all
to
of
interrupt
this,
real quick, Renee is putting into the notes down there, generators for Ukraine, the link for that. Is that one of the charities you want us to donate to?
absolutely, that would be a great GoFundMe. I normally support a, a organization called Cars for Ukraine, but we don't have
Oh, yeah,
time for
Cars
that,
for
and we don't
Ukraine. I
need
was
we
one of
don't
their
need
first spokesmen.
they're fantastic and they do great work, but their priority is getting vehicles out to the front line for medevac, for troop transport, for all that kind of. We don't have time for that. We have got to get generators into Ukraine. We've got to get other electrical. And I'm not a civil engineer. I don't know exactly what's needed, but I do know that it's needed urgently because if this goes, and look, we're in the middle of January. We've got not at least another month to go of winter, and if it continues like this is going to be a massive strain on Ukraine and a human tragedy. And I know the eyes of the world are turned elsewhere. We have plenty of things. As an American, I am furious about what happened in Minneapolis, and my focus and my attention, is there as well. But also, we can't forget about Ukraine, and this is going to be a massive humanitarian disaster if we don't get cracking. If we don't get people making donations to generators for Ukraine, great. Yes, absolutely. But also let your again. I know we all sound like broken records when we say this, but it does matter. Call your elected representatives. Tell them that this is actually something important. Let's get ahead of this. We're already in some ways behind, It's not Dobry Ranak, but good evening, Lev. Good to see you. Good to
Good to
see.
see you. It's been a while, Phil.
Hold on. Can you hear? Can you hear?
Yeah, we hear you.
You hear
Ja,
me?
No. I mean,
slušaju.
can you hear?
You hear me? I hear you.
No. I'm talking
Tak,
about what's going on outside.
tak ja slušam.
Oh, hold on.
Vai.
Can you hear? Air raids.
The air raids. I hear the
Air
air
raid.
raids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. We're getting another air raid there. It's relentless. It's absolutely relentless.
Well, we're letting
In
him
all
talk,
the 4
Lev,
years.
before his power goes out.
No, absolutely. No, Phil. Listen, and I apologize for. I know me and you've been trying to do this live. I'm glad Malcolm brought us all together because Phil's been down and he's been doing a lot of God's work, helping the Ukrainian people and trying to get the attention. I mean, how bad it really is there, folks. I mean, you see Alexander, but listen to Phil. Go ahead, Philip. I don't want to take up your time because just in case you get cut off, but go ahead, my brother.
Well, we just got power back about 45 minutes ago, so I'm hoping, and I don't want to jinx it, but I'm hoping that we've got a little bit of time here, so we don't have to be quite so, constrained. Lev, it's great to see you as well. And, brother, I know you have deep, your family's ties here. So much is here that's in your heart, and I've never seen it like this before, Lev. I don't know if you've been talking to your relatives and your friends back here. I've never seen it like this before. This
I
is the worst winter we've had.
I spoke to Alexander. I mean, he's been recovering. I mean, literally yesterday we went live. I mean, he said, he goes, I mean, to go, he goes, he's never, he's been living there for over 25 years now, 20. It's just terrible. And it's just that it just compiles on top of each other because the bombings, and then you got the weather, and then and the streets are not clean, the cars can't get through, pipes are freezing, and the way the system's set up, if I may, Philip, explain to most people don't understand. In America, we live where we have our own buildings, our own houses, we have our own heating. In Ukraine, it's central heating. It's central, So yes, even people say, "Well, let's get the generators," but not even the generators could sometimes help because you can have electricity, but unless they give you the pipe, right, Philip? Unless they put the heat on, yes, you might have lights, but you're not going to have heat, and that's why you're seeing all these videos of people putting up, blocks of what's it called, stones, and turning on the gas stoves to be able to bring heat. Also,
Yeah.
I just spoke to some of my people in Ukraine, what they've been opening up. I don't know if you see them already in Kyiv, all over the place. These like
Heating shelters.
heating shelters. Yeah, thank you. Heating
Yeah.
shelters.
And power in as well. So you can get your phone uh, repowered, charged up, and you can get these solid state. And this is a relatively small one. I mean, I have massive ones, but I'm privileged. Most Ukrainians
You
can't
have a
afford to
generator, right?
buy.
You have a generator. You're good.
I have solid state uh, uh, batteries, which can be used to power space heaters. So I'm good. I'm good. I am not. I am lucky. I live in a very central part of Kiev, which is the most protected part of, you know, basically the country. We have the most air defense here because so much of, the head of the country and all the kind of decision makers are here in the capital, and I'm right in the center. So, I'm not worried about myself. I'm worried about the tens, if not hundreds of thousands of people that are going to be suffering under incredible strain because, as I was telling Malcolm, we got lucky. I think the first two winters of this war, and as we go
Yeah,
into
it
the
was
fourth
very
year, our third
mild.
winter,
Especially
because the
last winter. Last winter was
last two
completely.
winters were nothing.
Exactly. I
Nothing.
remember it was,
Nothing.
and people forgot. And I was warning people. We were warning, and we started delivering generators, heating pads. Alexander started delivering heating pads all the way in August and September. We were delivering because we were preparing for it. I mean, we knew it was coming. We didn't know it's going to be obviously this bad. Nobody could
Right.
have thought about not only the Mother Nature but also the attacks happening. So I mean, it's crucial. But also, Philip, I'm going to get you in touch with Alexander. You guys probably
Yes,
you live blocks away from each other, I'm sure.
I bet we do.
It's crazy. I can't believe it. You know, Jacob actually, when Jacob Carsborough was there, him and Alexander met, and they've connected. So we need to connect you with them also. So this way, you know, you guys could work because both of you are doing incredible work and helping. And
Heck
you
yeah.
know, and we also have one of our subscribers coming down there in February. Cheech, Cheech. I don't know. He subscribes it to you also, Malcolm.
Yeah.
He has a family in Odessa, that are getting, you know, very, very bad over there. Obviously, in Odessa, even worse. So he's coming to be with them, and he'll be with Alexander. You guys, another volunteer, another pair of hands, another pair of, you know, legs and arms to be able to go do. I mean, Alexander right now is actually delivering in the ice. They're trying to get a generator over to a kid's. Play what's it called, kindergarten.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's no light. We're trying to get over there again. So again, and thanks to this community, thanks to each and every one of you guys. I mean, you guys are incredible. That I see the GoFundMe's in there. So yeah, absolutely. Ken Harborough, another incredible individual. I just
Yep.
actually spoke to Ben Midas a couple of days ago, and we're gonna get Ken on because Midas is gonna start covering Ukraine much more. That's one of the things that I spoke to Ben about. That they're gonna start not only PJ, God bless you. Thank you so much for your donations.
Wow. Thank you, PJ.
God bless you, man. Uh,
Yeah. Thank you, man.
Incredible, PJ. Wow.
Well,
Uh,
can
yeah, go ahead.
let me just make a quick point because Phil said something to me earlier. I don't think that most of the people get. First off, we spend $20 on lunch all the time without thinking about it, right? You go to Subway, that's 15, $20. You know, I commit to once a day adding that up and donating it somewhere at the end of the week. Like I just bought 4 cords of wood for my battalion's headquarters. And they can only use wood now. They can't use any other methodology because the generator's got to keep the Skylink up. Phil said something to me today that I thought was shocking, which is people are now going to die this winter in Kyiv and other parts of Ukraine from the cold.
Yeah.
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 In a modern European city in the 21st century, we're going to have the elderly, who, obviously, who are you know, some of the most at risk. But you know, and I don't want to be hyperbolic here, and I don't want to, you know, be, you know, I mean, this is real. People are going to start dying. People have already, I am sure, died.
People already dying.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm sure we have already lost people
oh no.
because of the weather.
Yeah. No, I mean, people, you're just not seeing the reporting on it because you're
Not
seeing
yet.
bombing, you're not seeing, you know, and especially in the villages. I mean, who's going out there right
Hmm.
now? I've been to Kyiv. I could tell you right now, if this is happening in the central Kyiv, all the outskirts right now, nobody even knows what's going on there. I mean, and these are people that survive. I mean, Alex went out to get water, and the pump was frozen. The water in the well was frozen in the pump. Just think about it. So, I mean, and that's like around. So there, it's extremely, extremely, extremely dire straits, and it's only going to get worse. And unless
Yeah,
you know, they get help because they need help, not just military help, but right now they need, like, I mean, I don't know. They need to send in some emergency response units that they have, like we have here after hurricanes, to be able, because they can't get they don't, I don't think they have the equipment to get it fixed quick enough. That's one of the things I was going to speak to a friend of mine that has a huge emergency response company in the United States. They do they work with FEMA. They do a lot of stuff, and they have
Yeah.
a lot of coordination with Poland. A lot of you know, the stuff that they get is from Poland. So I've been speaking to them. Maybe we could, you know, work it out and try to get you know, some.
anything.
I know anything. I know anything helps. So the
I
problem is the
cannot
Trump.
emphasize.
Yeah, the problem is the Trump
Yeah, yeah. The
organization.
problem is
They
Trump.
they
We
suck all
don't
the
even have
funding.
an ambassador, Lev. We don't
Yeah,
have an ambassador
I
right
know.
now.
And they stopped all the funding.
Bridget Brink, who was
I love
Biden's
Bridget.
ambassador, who is now running for Congress in Michigan, I believe. I wish I could vote for him, but I'm in a different district. She came under a lot of fire by people who were saying, we need to press for more weapons. But for a variety of reasons, that wasn't going to work. But it didn't work out that way. But she was very good about getting in this kind of equipment so that civil society could continue.
Yep.
We're doing none of that. We don't have any representative here. I've seen nothing from the U.S. Embassy about this at all, and I cannot describe to you how it feels right now in this room. I mean, you see me with my beanie cap and stuff like that, and I've got my big woolly beard, but it is bitterly cold here.
And the
I
sick
mean,
part.
the
I'm sorry. The sick
what's
part.
that?
The sick part is part of the plan. This is part of the
Yeah,
plan that Kirill Dmitriev laid out to Witkoff and Kushner. That they just didn't expect it to be so cold and such a harsh winter, but it was all part of the plan. How long have they been targeting infrastructure, cutting off fuel, gas, hitting all of these specifically? This terror campaign has been going on since what, August, September, October, even when the weather wasn't hot. This is what they were preparing for, to be able to last them out. That's why you see there's no aid coming from the United States. Forget about military aid. Just think about nobody. It's the worst. You don't have a president of the United States to come up and say, you know what, we're going to send them all this. Help them with some aid, get them some heating facilities, get some workers in there to be able
Yeah.
to fix the stuff. None of that. By the way,
Somebody,
Cheech, yeah, I'm sorry, Cheech just joined us. Cheech, I
and
want you
she,
to follow Philip. Phil, and you guys could DM and messages. Philip is in Kyiv. Philip is another one of our brothers, and that's there fighting the good fight, helping the people in Ukraine. He's been there for over a year. How long have you been there? 2 years already, Philip?
no, I've been there for. I'm going into my
or
fourth year
Or all
I
four
met
years?
Phil in the
since the
first
beginning.
month
Oh wow,
of the war. I
wow,
met Phil 1 month before the war started in Lviv.
wow,
Yeah, yeah.
wow.
I ran into Malcolm. I ran into Malcolm on the streets of Lviv, and I had been an admirer of his works because, look, all three of us have spoken about this individually and with one another.
Yes.
This war is. Um, it's all part of a larger conflict that involves everything that's also going on domestically within the United States. All right. The GRU and the Russian military have been undermining our body politic in the United States for a long time, and now it's almost ineffectual in in what they need to be doing for Ukraine, and to understand that this is the front line. This is where the rubber meets the road, sort of thing. And the Ukrainian people. I can tell you, and Lev, you'll back me up on this, I know for sure, and Malcolm, you will too. The Ukrainian people have no lack of determination and will, but there's a point where you just have to say this doesn't work,
Right.
especially if you're looking for your elderly, if you're looking for your impoverished, um, of course, the very young. These are people who are, uh, the, you know, it's not a matter of will. It's not a matter of resistance or strength of determination to hold out. If you can't physically live, you're going to have to move, and this is going to create another massive internally displaced people situation, of further refugee status within Europe, and also, and I've said this from the very beginning of the war, is that at some point, if we do let these people down after making so many promises to them, we're going to have to look and watch and bear witness and know that we could have stopped this. We could have
Yeah.
altered this if we'd wanted to. So now we have to sit and watch little old ladies shivering in the cold on the street. And you know, that just it makes me angry because I saw this coming. You know, I knew that the West, because they're so afraid of Putin and his, you know, nuke threats, that they were gonna, you know, sadly, Ukraine's history is one of betrayal of one side or the other. It's just repeats itself. And, you know, we have to readjust, I think, our perception of what it is we want and what we need to do for Ukraine. And right now, that means helping people avoid freezing to death.
Yep.
But in a larger picture, we also need to get back on track with deciding that we're going to support Ukraine. And you know, I talked to my Ukrainian friends. I have, you know, Ukrainian associates that I put out a normally I put out a show every week, which you've both been guests on, and I appreciate that. But I, I 16 hours without power today, Lev. 16 hours. Yesterday, 15
Jesus
hours.
Christ.
Yeah,
I mean,
and think about as bad as that is. And Alex was telling me he went like 12 hours yesterday, but something similar to you. But Alex goes to me because think about as bad as it is 12 hours. There's places they're going 3-4 days without power,
yeah,
you know, and then getting out for 5 hours, and then again another three. So it's like especially the farther out you go from the city, it gets even worse and worse. And they have nothing literally. I mean, they're in the middle. It's freezing
yeah.
and I want to reiterate your words to think about, folks. This is 2026, and people are literally freezing to death on the streets. I
Disgraceful.
mean, it's disgraceful. It shouldn't be. And the leader of the free world, the United States of America, is allowing it to happen. I mean, what can you say? I mean,
Mhm.
he's doing it to the people here in the United States himself. So what do you expect of him?
Well,
Well, all three
we,
of us are well aware of how compromised our body politic and in
yeah.
particular the executive is. And I know that when people hear that, they think, oh, here comes the 10 tinfoil hat and the conspiracy and the Russia, Russia, Russia. That is their narrative that they put out. The Mueller report was not a failure. The Mueller report was obstructed. You know, we know that there are direct ties between Trump and Putin that, you know, are of course highly suspect, and I could say even stronger than that. But when you and I spoke, Lev, for example, on my show, when you and I spoke, we talked about the fact that Rudy Giuliani knew exactly that he was talking to Russian intelligence.
100%.
He knew.
He
He
didn't care.
knew 100%, and he didn't care.
He didn't
As
care.
long as he could use it for against his political opponents, he did not care, and
That's
that
right.
is pervasive throughout the entire Trump
And Phil, and back
junta.
then, just think about it, as bad as it was back then, where you had Rudy and us running it, and it wasn't about finances back then. It was about getting information. And Joe, then now the 2.0, now instead of Lev and Rudy, you have Witkoff and Kushner. And these
Hmm.
guys and the relationship that they've see, the one thing that, I was in the cult, but I was, me and you spoke about me and Malcolm. I always thought that I'm saving our democracy. I thought I'm out there working for the
Yeah.
president. I'm doing what the hell is going on. But these guys are not in it for that. They're in it for the money and the power.
Well,
And
that's
the axis of evil that has been built, as you gotta understand, you got MBS that made the wedding in Saudi Arabia in 2017 between Kushner, Witkoff, and Kirill Dmitriev. And since then, this is that relationship. That's why you've had reports that Trump and Putin have been speaking even during the Biden administration, all that. This has been brewing for a while. This is not overnight, and what you're seeing play out. And that's why, it's sad that we keep sounding the alarm. Malcolm, me, you, Phil, Alexander, people are dying, and unfortunately, nothing about here in the media, nothing about in the papers. And I understand, and look, I understand there's a lot of things happening here. We have ICE killing people, Americans in the street, and I fully understand it. But like Phil said, and like Malcolm said, I mean, this is 2026, folks. People are freezing. We have kids that are dying. We got, so we should be able to walk and chew gum at the same time, and we should be able to report. The news should be reported about locally, but also we should keep the attention on the people of Ukraine, and that's why. Thank you, Philip, for. I mean, 4 years. I didn't know you're. It's been. I know it's been a couple, but 4 years. Just think about. I mean, think about the commitment that people like Malcolm and Philip did, folks. I mean, we sit in a warm place sometimes, or we're sitting here in the United States watching this unfold. Malcolm went out there and fought. I mean, after fighting for our own country, after what he went out, put on this gear, and went stood side by side by the Ukrainian people and fought against the Russians. Philip gave up, a cushy life here in the United States where he has everything, and he's been for 4 years suffering every day. Just think about it, 18 hours without power needed, and this is just now. We're talking about 14 years of bombing and everything they went through to be able to keep it. This is a true patriotism, and that's why I always say everybody could do something. Not each and every one of you could do what Malcolm did or what Philip is doing, what Alexander's doing, what I'm doing, and that's why your contributions, your help, your subscriptions, your paid subscription, all of those little things, they matter. Every little one of those. And that's why right now we have over 1,800 people here, folks. I'm asking each and every one of you, go hit that little Chiron up there and make sure you follow, cross-pollinate. But more importantly, let's give Philip a follow, because, we need to grow his platform a little bit bigger. We need to grow Alexander's platform a little bit bigger. These are people, these are heroes that are on the front line out there, and we're trying to platform them, but you know what to do, folks. Go ahead, Malcolm. I'm sorry.
All right. And for that, we need to do some admin. Everybody go up to that little gray box that says Black Man Spy and touch it. And then you will see all the subscriber buttons coming. Look, Phil, I wasn't subscribed to you. I'm your best friend.
Let me make sure.
Yeah, I'm an old.
No,
I'm an old
Phil, I wasn't subscribed either.
I gotta press that button.
I just pressed it too.
Phil.
I just subscribed too, guys. See,
There's 2,000 of us here almost.
I'm an old 60 Minutes producer. All of this is new to me, and it's a big learning curve. And so,
to me also, believe me, Phil.
Listen, we want to Phil. First off, it's past midnight for Phil. We want to let him get back to bed, let him get his space warm. All right, Phil. One last appeal. Where should they send money if they want to send money?
generators for Ukraine. That link that's been that you guys have been putting up there. That I've been supporting other groups that aren't applicable right now. This is an all hands on deck moment.
Generators for
And
Ukraine.
So if we can generators for Ukraine, go do that right now. Guys, thank you for letting me spend some time with you. It's always a pleasure to talk to you. Get in touch with anybody on the ground here. We'll all work together. The Children's Action Program that I work with Dr. Erwin Redlin and Kathy, you're absolutely right. They're great, but that's not what's needed right now. What's needed right now is buying generators and getting them in
Generators,
we got another. Okay, so Lev, you know this very well. We are only in the middle of January. We have at least another month of very heavy weather coming. Now we originally heard that we could go down to -20 this weekend. That's being revised, so it may not be as bad, but it is still it's unmanageable, and people are going to die. So, and the last thing I'd like to say, as we wrap it up, and you're right, Malcolm, I do need some shut eye, and to start, powering these puppies back up just in case, or for the eventuality. But I want to make this point very. All three of us recognize and have recognized, and that's why I reached out to you, Malcolm, and that's why I reached out to you, Lev. I have recognized for a very long time, this is all one fight. You may think that what is happening in the United States with the dysfunction and if you're an American and you are feeling that you don't have steady footing, that's on purpose. That's part of this whole thing. There is a conflict happening between autocracies and liberal democracies, and it is vital that we recognize it, and that we recognize that we're all on, you're on one side or you're on the other. I'm standing with the people of Ukraine who want to live a free life and have liberal democracy, rule of law, fair and honest elections, that they clear up their corruption, all the things that the being a colonized power of a neighboring empire does to a nation. They are trying to undo it, and it's the same fight as what our founding fathers fought for self-determination. And we need to stand with Ukraine. And I have put 4 years of my life here, and I don't regret it at all. It has been hard. It continues to be hard, but it is the greatest privilege of my life. And I have done quite a few things in my life as a former 60 Minutes producer and a CBS producer. But it is the greatest privilege of my life to stand with the people of Ukraine.
Amen. Yep.
The bravery that I have seen, and the belief and the dedication to the idea of being sovereign and being self-determining is so inspiring. So we cannot let these people suffer at the hands of the brutality of the Russians. What they're doing is a war crime. It's been decried as a war crime at the four corners of the world, but it's never been more observant to, obvious to me right now that the Russians want to kill Ukrainians. Not the Ukrainian government, not the Ukrainian soldiers. They want to kill and destroy. This is a genocidal war. It is a colonial imperial war. And if we don't stand up against it, we're losing so much when it comes to liberal democracy and autocracy. This may be the front line. This may be where the bombs are dropping. But back home, where when we see what's happening in Minneapolis, when we see the corruption within the administration, when we see the lies that are being repeated by the DNI, for goodness sakes, or for members of the cabinet who repeat word for word Moscow's talking points, you have to realize this is all one fight. So by helping the people of Ukraine, you're actually also helping people living in Western democracies, because Moscow and Putin are an absolute plague on this globe, and they have to be defeated. And if they need to be defeated on the battleground here, and internally, where the borderline, the borderland is here, but also obviously throughout the world. So both of you gentlemen are fighting the good fight, and I'm very proud to call you my friends.
All right.
And if there's ever anything that either of you need that I can do on the ground here, and I'll reach out, and I'm not too proud. I'll reach out to you as well. So let's all do this together. This is a common fight. People, I can't urge you enough. Support Ukraine. Send generators here. This is a dire situation that's going to get worse unless we get together and do something about it.
All right,
not
Phil,
just on the governmental level.
Phil, we want you to get your power on.
I am gonna go, and I'll be on with Ken. I'll be on with Ken on Sunday, Lev. You mentioned Ken Harbaugh, and tell the guys
tell Ken to send me an invite. I'll join you guys. And by the way, I want to surprise you, Phil. So just for you, me and Malcolm are making plans for all of you out there. We're gonna come visit Ukraine. So I'm just working with my probation officer. I'm trying to get my documents. Malcolm's ready to go today. Malcolm's first is going to Denmark. Malcolm first has to save Greenland. But once Malcolm comes back from Greenland, hopefully I get my paperwork and they allow me. And trust me, we're coming to Ukraine. Then guys, nothing's ready for
in my studio.
Oh yeah,
next time you and I speak, I want you sitting in my studio.
Yeah. We're gonna go.
You guys are both the best, and I'm very, very proud to call you my friends.
Well, go to bed. Get your stuff charged up and get that place warm. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Slava Ukraini, my friend.
Slava.
All right. We love you. We miss you. Keep my body armor safe. And and he's been my storage place for 3 years. And stay safe.
Yes.
No guarantees in life, but I'll do the best I can. It's not my first rodeo. And if there's a cause, not to be morose, but if there's a cause worth dying for, this is the ground I'll stand on because Moscow has to be stopped. All right, guys, I'm going to bed. I'm going to power myself up
Bye-bye.
and get
Thanks,
some sleep.
everybody, for joining us. Go to Generators for Ukraine.
Absolutely.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.